بيكم أعزائي طلبة وطالبات الصف الثالث الإعدادي في حلقة جديدة من حلقات الساينس تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. في اللاست episodes كنا بدأنا نتكلم على الميررز which is the lesson 1 in unit 2 وتعرفنا على أنواع الميررز like البلان mirrors and السpherical mirrors. وفي الحلقة اللي فاتت بدأنا نتكلم على البروبرتيز of أو الشيبس of the spherical mirrors. either we have concave and convex mirror. تعالوا نفتكر كده مع بعض. concave mirror that has inner reflecting surface, and we have another one which is convex mirror that has outer reflecting surface. Today we are going to know how can we use these mirrors أو بنشوف images of ourselves in those mirrors. how. At the beginning الحلقة دي هنعمل شغل practice كتير, ف I hope that you prepare a copybook or a paper, pencil and ruler and be ready with me because this episode هنتعلم skills how can you draw the image forms in both types of mirrors. Okay, so let's be ready with those things. At the beginning we know that we have two types. The first type which is called concave. هفكركم كده concave. It looks like the inner shape of the spoon. لما بنشوف ال inner shape of the spoon it looks like the concave. طيب ال concave has another name which is this shape of the concave and the convex mirror with the outer reflecting surface. So you can recognize them by the dashes that represent the outer part, either this is not the reflecting part. So here we have to know that each one of them has a certain name or other name which is very important, and we got it as a give reason, which is why we called the concave mirror converging mirror. The word converging means collecting. Converging means collecting, يعني بتجمع الريز, بتجمع الlight rays that falls on it. Let's see how. So if he asks you concave mirror is called converging mirror as it converge, you can use the word converge, or as it collects. Collects why? The parallel light rays that falls on its surface. And we are going to see how now by drawing. Type. This is the shape of the concave mirror. If the light ray and with the inner surface of the sphere which is inner reflecting surface, الجزء اللامع, the inside part. So let's see how if the parallel light rays fall on it. Now we are going to see it and then we are going to practice how can we draw it together. Those are the parallel light rays coming on the surface of the concave mirror. What happens to those rays? They reflect. طب الرفلكت بتاعهم how؟ تعالوا نشوف كده. By collecting. They collect in a point. The point دي it's called focus. We know the meaning of focus from the plane mirror في قبل كده, and we are going to know now what is the focus. Is the point of collection of the reflected rays. يبقى ال parallel rays when it falls on the reflecting surface it will converge or it will collect. عشان كده بنسميها converging or collecting. طيب another give reason which is why we called the other one which is convex mirror بنسميها other name which is diverging. The word diverging means scattering, يعني بتفرق الريز اللي نازله عليها. أول ما الري parallel rays fall on the reflecting surface of it, it will diverge. The word diverge means scattered or separate, تتفرق. Let's see how. طب why we called it كذا؟ طيب أهو. As it diverge or separate or scattered the light rays that falls on it. يبقى you can use the word diverge من question نفسه. Why we called it diverging? Because it diverge the light rays that falls on it. Let's see how كده. This is the mirror. طب how can I differentiate؟ دي عندها outer reflecting surface عشان كده بسميها convex mirror. طب let's see the light rays then this is parallel rays falls on it. What happens as the question said? They diverge. هنشوف ازاي. Yes, diverge يعني scattered. So it cannot collect the light ray as the last one. So those are very important. Give reason you have to memorize and recognize them very well. Either concave mirror converging and convex mirror is called diverging. Okay. Now we have a certain rules related to the formation of image in the concave mirror. We are going to start this episode with the concave mirror. هنبتدي نشرح ال concave mirror and we are going to know how can the images formed in the concave mirror. Before we start to know how the images are formed in the concave mirror, let's know some rules that you have to obey it. عندنا if we want to calculate mathematical relations, you have to get the rule, تكتب rule, and then you are going to answer. Okay? Here, those rules, you have to memorize it only, and you have to applicate it, بطبقهم when I'm going to draw any case in the cases of mirror as we are going to see in this episode. Let's go now together and see what are those rules related to the concave mirror. Let's go and see. Let's know now how can we draw the rules that we are going to use it in writing, in drawing all the cases of formation of image. First of all, هنبتدي rule number 1. rule 1. في الرولز دي أول حاجة لازم ناخد بالنا منها first that you are going to draw الميرور بتاعتك and you have to make sure that it's a concave يعني outer reflecting surface. Then we are going to put all the data that we know it. We know that all the mirrors عندها pole. This is our pole in the center of the mirror. And then start to make the principal axis line as it is. كده. This is our principal axis. Okay. And then put the center of curvature that we discussed before, and in the middle we have focus. This is our mirror. This is the preparation of the mirror. The first rule بيقول لي ايه؟ If the light ray falls parallel to the principal axis. يعني ايه parallel principal axis؟ يعني ادي الاكس اهو، ادي line parallel to it. Let's go and see what happens. This is a parallel ray to the principal axis, and you have to touch the reflecting surface and you have to put the arrow. This is incident light ray falls parallel to the principal axis. What happens to this ray? It will reflect passing by the focus. Let's see how. From the same point that reaches the reflecting surface, here it's passing by the focus. هعمل ray وأكمله passing by the focus, and I have to make the arrow عشان أبين ده هو ده reflecting ray. يبقى parallel to the principal axis, reflect passing by the focus. This is rule number 1. Let's go and see rule number 2. Rule 2. Rule 2 نفس الميرور. I'm going to prepare my mirror. Here, outer reflecting surface, and put the pole in the middle here, and start to make the principal axis من أول البول, passing from the pole, reaching the center of curvature. Straight line, and you have to use ruler and pencil. And here in the middle of the distance, put the focus. Okay? Then, what is rule number 2? If the light ray passing by the focus, أهو light ray passing by the focus, نكمل تحت أهو. It will reflect how. This is a ray. Before I leave it, I have to put the ray. It will reflect parallel to the principal axis. طب from which part I'm going to make the reflection? From the same point that touching the surface. النقطة اللي لمست الميرور I'm going to put the ray من it, ودي very important عشان هنستخدمها then in drawing the cases. Let's see how. From the same point here, make a ray parallel to the principal axis and then make the arrow. Don't forget to make the arrow. So this is rule number 2. Let's move to rule number 3. Rule 3. Here. فاضل لي ايه المكان اللي انا the ray that didn't pass through it؟ هو مكان واحد. I will prepare my mirror. Then make the ray parallel. This is the principal axis. And then I'm going the C, center of curvature, F, which is my pole, focus, and this is the pole in the mirror, and make sure that it's in the middle of the reflecting surface of the mirror. Don't put it here or here or there. Here, you should put it here. And then the last rule, if the light ray passes by the center of curvature, يعني الray ماشي بالcenter ممارر بالcenter of curvature, it reflects on itself. طب how can I draw it reflect on itself? Just make this shape. ادي الray, make it passing by the center of curvature, and as I said you have to reach the surface. هنكمل كده شوية. Okay. This is the light ray that falls on the reflecting surface and passing by center of curvature. What happens to this ray? It reflects on itself. طب how can I make it? Like this shape. arrow معاكس ليه باصص للناحية التانية. If it falls passing by the center of curvature, it reflects on itself. طب what about all those rules? حاجة واحدة بس هنبهكوا ليها. If you start to draw the principal axis, make sure قيس بالرولر 6 centimeter, and then after measuring 6 centimeter, put here after الفوكس it's in the middle, يبقى هقيس 3 centimeter and then I'm going to put the focus. Okay, then start to draw your cases. It will be perfect. هي دي مقاسات كده عشان to get the image perfect. Those rules not a type of question in the exam, but you have to use it in drawing all the cases of mirror like we are going to complete in our episode today. Okay, let's go and complete our lesson today. زي ما شفنا دلوقتي الرولز بتاعتنا, we are going to use this rules. ادي rule number 1, parallel to the principal axis, so it passing by the focus as we draw it together مع بعض. And this is rule number 2. If the light ray passing by the focus, it will reflect on itself. أهو passing by the focus, so it reflect parallel to the principal axis. The third rule, if the light ray passing by the center of curvature, it reflects on itself like we draw it together. This type of question may be like complete what happens to the light ray if it passing on the focus. هتقول it reflects parallel to the principal axis, passing by the center of curvature, it reflects on itself. بس مش هيسألك write the rule. But you have to know how you use it in drawing the cases of formation of image in the mirror. كل ده احنا كنا بنشوف الرول عشان نشوف how the image is formed. Let's go and pass to the cases related to the concave mirror. Before we start to know الكيسز هكلمكم كده كلمتين. الكيسز here we are going to discuss فيها حاجتين. Every time you are going to stand up in front of this mirror هنغير ال position of the object. يعني هنستارت ان احنا put the object اول مرة at a distance greater than the center of curvature. يعني هشوف السي فين and then I'm going to put the object greater than the distance of center of curvature, أو بمعنى آخر greater than double of focal length. You know إن the distance من البول للcenter of curvature دي double الfocal length, صح؟ Okay, so I'm going to put the object greater than, in a distance greater than the center of curvature. And then I'm going to recognize أول position. الخطوة الثانية هنقدم step forward، يبقى I'm going to put the object where? Yes, on the center of curvature. طب case 3 step forward، يبقى between the center of curvature and the focus. Another step forward, I'm going to put the object where? On the focus. And finally the last step between the focus and the pole. يبقى احنا بنلعب لعبة كراسي موسيقية. بنلعب ايه؟ put the objects in different positions and then اللي بنعرفه I'm going to tell you where the object is. أنا هقول لك مكان put the object where. But you are going to predict what? number one sorry ايه البوزيشن of the image. انت تقول لي بعد ما ترسم البوزيشن of the image طلعت فين. and you are going to look to your image and tell me شكلها ايه، magnified, smaller, at the same size, virtual, real. Before we start to know في two main points we have to note. We know from the plane mirror that the word virtual means that the image cannot be received on screen. يعني أنا ما أقدرش أخد الصورة على screen. But the opposite بتاعها is a real image. Real means that I can receive it on screen. يبقى عندي virtual image and what? Real image. تمام. دايما الريل ايمج هتطلع لك inverted. يعني الريل ايمج كلمة ريل وانفيرتد they are twin، بيطلعوا مع بعض. أول ما ألاقي الايمج طالعة لي inverted، يعني what's meant by inverted؟ مقلوبة. The head down يبقى inverted. أول ما أشوف inverted I will write real. أوكي. طب if it is virtual يبقى upright يعني معدولة. لما ألاقي الصورة معدولة هقول virtual. تمام، اتفقنا. Let's get so بقى here let's see the first case. Here the object we will put it at a distance greater than the center of curvature. طب هعمل ايه؟ I will put the object and then I'm going to start. The first ray هعمله ازاي؟ Parallel to the principal axis. Let's move كده على الcases and then we are going to know together how can we draw two of those cases together. But here see. This is the object at a distance greater than the center of curvature. ادي C، حطيت الاوبجكت ابعد and then what I'm going to use in drawing هنتفق مع بعض اتفاق. Number 1 هنقيس 6 cm length to the principal axis. Then 3 cm and put the focus in the middle. Okay. Then طلب مني put the object at a distance greater than the center of curvature. I will put it بعد C. Okay. Then I'm going to use any rules. Rule number 1 that I'm going to take a ray parallel to the principal axis, then I'm going to reflect it passing by the focus. وهاخد another ray passing by the focus and it reflects to parallel to the principal axis. هننفذ في كل الcases these two rules except one case only اللي هي when the body is on the focus، وهقول لكم هنعمل فيها ايه. تمام؟ طيب let's see في الفيرست وان عشان لما نيجي نرسم نبقى عارفين شكل الايمج هتبقى ايه. هلاقي هنا الايمج طلعت لي فين؟ الايمج طلعت لي after I'm going to see the intersection between the reflected ray. أول reflected ray وتاني reflected ray so the image is شايفينها inverted مقلوبة. So I see I said before that if it is inverted هتبقى ايه؟ يبقى real image. طب نبص look to the image here. It's what minimized or diminished or صغيرة صغرت عن السايز بتاعها. This is the first case. Let's move to the second one quickly. Here if I put the object أنا قلت هنقدم step forward so it will be where? On the center of curvature. Let's see how. This is the object on the C and the two rays, one parallel reflect passing by the focus and one passing by the focus reflect parallel. طب look here, where is the image? الإيمج طلعت لي فين؟ On the center of curvature. تحت الأوبجكت بالظبط. الإيمج تحت الأوبجكت بالظبط. وشكلها إيه؟ look here inverted. أيوة أول حاجة نبتدي نشوفها هي شكلها إيه؟ inverted مقلوبة. The head of the arrow down and the tip التيل بتاعه on the principal axis, so it's inverted. I said before, if it's inverted تبقى إيه؟ تبقى real image. I can receive it on the screen. And what about the size? The same size of the object. This is case 2. هنموف بسرعة على الكيسز and then we are going to know how can we draw it together. The third case هنبقى واقفين فين؟ Between the C and F, between the center of curvature and the focus. Let's see here what happens. Where is the image is? The image is after بعيدة in a distance greater than the radius of curvature. أدي الإيمج أهي المقلوبة. تمام؟ أوكي. طب what are the properties of this image? Yes, inverted. طالما قلت inverted خلاص إحنا عرفنا inverted تبقى real image. طب what about its size? Yes, it's magnified or bigger than the real object. Okay? طيب. And next one. طيب here بقى عندي very important case that I said عليها. What happened أو give reason بيقول لي if the object put on the focus لو حطيت الobject على الفوكس on F so there is no image formed. اشمعنى البوينت دي بالذات أنا ما بشوفش خالص ما بشوفش ولا image. Let's see why. Here بيقول لي this because here the extension of the reflected rays are parallel to each other and don't intersect. طبعا احنا مش هنفهم اي حاجه من اللي احنا بنقوله ده. ليه؟ we have to draw it عشان نفهم. ادي الاوبجكت حطاه على الفوكس. This is the first ray نازل على ال reflecting surface. It will reflect passing by the focus. Okay؟ طب here I can't take the second rule. مش هقدر اخد ray passing by the focus. حته ضيقه قوي. فالسكند ray هيبقى passing by the center of curvature. ده الرول الثالث اول مره هنستعمله هي المره الوحيده. Here if it passes by the center of curvature as we said in the rules it will reflect on itself. على نفسه. reflect على نفسه. تمام. طب here can you see any intersection؟ أنا شفت في كل الإيمجز اللي فاتت أنا برسم الإيمج إزاي؟ If the two reflected ray intersect together يعني إيه intersect؟ يتقطعوا مع بعض هشوف ال point of intersection and I will draw the image. طب here any intersection أنا شايفة two parallel rays. Two parallel rays to the infinity. يفضلوا parallel طول عمرهم مش هيintersect مع بعض. So عشان كده جاوبنا وقلنا no image is formed if the body is found on the focus. لو البادي واقف على الفوكس مفيش صورة خالص هتبان. نروح بقى للأنسر هنفهمها مع بعض. ليه؟ because the extension of the reflected light rays are parallel. كل reflected light rays والextension يعني ايه extension؟ لو عملت لهم حتى امتداد ليهم بالدوتد لاينز ديت يعني extension مش هيتقابلوا ابدا. وطالما التو reflected rays never intersect together or never meet together يبقى no image is formed. ودي very important give reason. طيب آخر كيس if the body were between the focus and the pole قرب قوي 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 من البول. Let's see how. This case is the only case that بتعمل لي الإيمج behind the mirror. يعني إيه behind the mirror؟ يعني أنا مش هشوف الصورة طالما أنا ما شفتهاش. cannot be received on the screen. يبقى اسمها إيه؟ يبقى virtual image. وبصوا بقى في الإيمج هنا it's virtual لقيناها إيه؟ erected. يعني إيه erected؟ يعني upright معدولة. This is the image اللي ورا الميرور. We are going to know how can we draw it. Don't panic. Okay? So this is the image behind the mirror. يبقى لما اجي اقول البوزيشن اوف ذا ايمج وير انا هبص طلع لي الصوره فين؟ behind the mirror. عملت extension لغايه الصوره ما وصلت لي behind the mirror. طب what about the properties of this image? Look to it. It's upright or erect and virtual لان virtual يعني دايما upright or virtual and very big, enlarged, magnified, bigger than the size of the object. Okay? طيب. Now we are going to start to. Let's go together and هنجرب one of those cases together practical مع بعض. Let's بقى see now how can we make one of those cases that we saw it together مع بعض. first of all I said that we are going to prepare الكونفكس ميرور بتاعتنا. make sure that you make the parts that بتبين لك ان ده concave mirror. reflecting surface is the inner surface. measure 6 centimeter length and put your C اللي هو center of curvature and the middle and the 3 centimeter put the focus. and let's start to see how can we make the image for the body when we put it at a distance greater than the center of curvature. هناخد الرولر بتاعتنا ونستارت. أول حاجة قلنا هنشتغل بأول rule which is I'm going to take the first ray from the tip of the object. يعني لازم أظبط الرولر بتاعتي كويس جدا إن أنا أبتدي أول ray من التip بتاعت الأوبجكت. then هعمل straight line and you have to reach the reflecting surface. ما تسيبش القلم غير لما توصل للreflecting surface and then put the arrow which indicate that it's the incident ray. ده أول ray. then هيحصل له إيه؟ it reflects. قلنا إزاي؟ passing by the focus. طيب هظبط الرولر إزاي؟ I get the ruler هبتديها من البوينت اللي أنا وصلت بيها here مش من أي حتة تانية خالص لأن مش هتطلع لي الإيمج صح. from this point start to make the reflected light ray passing by the focus. make sure إن هي from the same point as I said. نكملها. okay then put your ray down. without the rays دي عبارة عن خطوط إنما كده هي light rays. تمام. this is the first one. then هاخد الثانية منين؟ from the same point here نفس البوينت اللي بدأت منها هتشتغل برضو عليها. هتاخد تاني ray passing by the focus. نظبط ايدينا كويس جدا كده from the same point passing by the focus and then we make the be patient عشان احنا لازم نظبط الدروينج بتاعنا كويس جدا. from here passing by the focus reaching the reflecting surface لغاية الآخر. then put your ray. very good. then what happens now? it reflects parallel to the principal axis. let's see how. put your ruler from the same point. دي أسهل حاجة. and make a parallel ray to the principal axis and move it and then put your ray. زي ما قلت قبل كده. طب انا فين الريفلكتد لايت ريز بتاعتي؟ ادي 1 ريفلكتد اهو ده 1 والتاني ريفلكتد اهو parallel to the principal axis. طب they intersect together where؟ اهم دي البوينت اوف intersection that I'm going to draw the image. احط كده عند البوينت دي this is my image ووصلها للprincipal axis. here you have to write this is object and this is my image. طب اقدر بقى اعرف هنا اوصف الايمج بتاعتي. it's here between the center of curvature and the focus. طيب خلاص ده البوزيشن من غير ما احفظ عشان احنا مش بنحفظها. تاني حاجه it's a smaller than the size and it's inverted. وقلت طالما inverted تبقى ايه؟ تبقى it's a real image. هنا اتعلمنا نرسم وسكيلز ان احنا to draw one of them. في النكست episode we are going to know how can we draw another cases. now في الحلقه دي اتعلمنا ايه؟ شفنا ان احنا عندنا two types of mirrors بس we discuss in detail the concave mirror and شفنا all the cases and now هسيبكم and then you're going to prepare a paper and start to practice on the case واللي احنا عملناها مع بعض and then we are going in the next episode to revise together and see what we are going to do. Thank you so much and I will see you again in the next episode.